Hello again and welcome to HealthWise, the TV show. I'm your host, Ralph Hipp, and our program this Friday helps all of you deal with those severely debilitating problems if you have sleep apnea. And our resident expert on that is Mike Conlon of Jayhawk Pharmacy and Patient Supply, along with his daughter Paige, who's busily working on summertime travel issues, summertime travel with sleep apnea, and the product's available for you if you use your CPAP very easily. And we're going to have a little revelation on the show in just a few more minutes as I welcome Mike
Ralph,
Conlon
as always, thank you.
Good to have
pleasure.
you here. Well, summertime travel, I think I'll just admit right at the beginning, this right here, my friends, this one on this is my CPAP machine. I have severe sleep apnea, and I've used this for a little over a year now. So I brought it on the show. This is actually what I use, and Paige Conlon was able to get me this very comfortable mask. And you've got some newer technology, which we'll talk about. So how do we pack all this up for a summer vacation, Mike? That's our main topic today.
You know, we all go through the same thing. It's tomorrow morning we catch our flight or we're headed down the road. Do we have everything? You have your checklists, things like that. Oftentimes you'll wear your device the night before, and then you'll get up in the morning somewhat in a panic, in a rush, and then did you take everything? Do you have everything packed? So we always say pack right and pack tight. So know what you need to take. Checklists are available. We have them available if folks want to stop by. Right. But quite simply, you know, use an example. When you get a new mask, there's no reason to dispose of that old mask or hose or water chamber. You can pack those away for your ready bag, so that then all you have to do is pack the bulk, the bigger part, the blower, if you will, of your CPAP machine. Right. And then you have your checklist fulfilled. Simple things like an extension cord. You don't really think about that unless you're traveling on a ship and the plug is across the room. So
yeah. We've had that happen, or when I carry my friend here, when you're in the hotel room, okay, here's the bed, where are the outlets? Or it's behind underneath the lamps. So you have to figure out where to plug it in.
And you typically sleep on the left and it's only on the right. So it's just one more thing to bother you on your trip.
I would add one thing, Mike, in terms of when you get on an airplane, if you're flying somewhere for summer vacation and you have just that limit of carry-on, a CPAP machine, in its case, does not count against you on your carry-on luggage.
That is correct.
That's a medical device that you need,
Absolutely.
And you carry that right, plus your carry-on.
And oftentimes we'll just suggest people go ahead and put your medication in there too. You know, set yourself up with a MediSet, with a planner, daily planner, and that way you have everything you really need for your health. If for some reason your luggage is delayed in some fashion.
Well, Mike, as I mentioned, I got this a little over a year ago, and are there already some that are much smaller than this? Is this kind of an older model that's now would be considered bulky?
That is considered the standard. Now, with technology, everything gets smaller and smaller. You and I remember a bag phone back when we were younger.
Oh, sure.
And now, you know, the technology has moved towards two different devices that are yet smaller. I liken them to a small loaf of bread that you might get at a steakhouse. They're not perfect for everybody all the time, but, you know, for example, if you and your wife and grandchildren are going to travel for a week somewhere, you don't have every bit of the technology that's in your more sophisticated device, but you have adequate technology to be able to make you comfortable, everybody in your room comfortable, your bedmate, your children, everything else. Plus, we're here to prevent disease. You know, we talked earlier about heart health, brain health, lung health. So you don't want to just put your sleep apnea on hold while you're traveling.
Just because you're traveling somewhere.
Just because you're traveling.
Dr. Sethi on our stroke program just last week said sleep apnea is one of the crucial things you should take care of to lower your risk of strokes later on. Well, Mike, is there anything you want to say about the two devices, these smaller devices? These are very intriguing, and then we'll go to this. This is going to be amazing, and we can combine the elements we have here. What do you have in your hand right now?
Let's say, for example, that you're a camper, that you like to go on week-long trips up in the mountains or wherever it may be. This device is simply a CPAP machine that is user-ready. It can plug into the wall. It provides all the temperatures and the pressures that you need.
And what about this one here?
The bigger device has a battery pack with it. So let's say you're that same camper, and instead of being in your RV, you're in a tent, you're up in the mountains or wherever you may be. This battery pack will last 2 days with the same device. So in doing that, you really don't have a reason to not treat your sleep apnea.
Now let's open the door, and I'm going to actually stand up here to open it. You got it?
Sure.
So this Mike brought this over, and here's my mask. So instead of me putting it in the sink and scrubbing it every other week as you're supposed to do, you get all that cleaned off inside here and all along the edge. Get that clean when you put that over your face. Now I'm going to put this in here, Mike.
Yes, sir.
And
Headgear and everything.
The gear and everything. So tell me about this contraption. And the hose goes right there, and I close that, and there it goes.
Well, you mentioned something earlier, and that's diligently trying to clean your mask and your equipment. And frankly, I think we all know that we don't necessarily do that every day as we wish we would.
No, sure don't do it every day.
In my case, I try to do it every day, don't get it done every day, and then I think, well, perhaps my wife might do that if I laid it on the kitchen table or dining room somewhere that's, a gentle reminder.
Yeah.
And that doesn't really work most times, we all know that. So this device called a So Clean, I think, is something that is absolutely remarkable. You still want to clean your mask. You don't have to be quite as diligent. You want to go ahead and soap and water, get all of the...
Still do that. I don't taste any of the detergent when I...
No, and it's actually not a detergent, it's ozone.
It's ozone in this one.
So you
right
put
in there.
everything in here, turn on the machine for a 7-minute cycle. It sterilizes to 99.9% purity.
Fantastic. All right. Well, folks, Mike, thank you for the lesson for me being a patient and probably you at home. Jayhawk Pharmacy and Patient Supplies right near 6th and McVicker.
Yes, sir.
On the way to Hummer Sports Park. I'm definitely going to check this out, and maybe you would like to as well. That's called the So Clean. And you can also reach Mike and Paige Conlon at 235-9700 to find out more about sleep apnea and the new treatments for it, jayhawkpharmacy.com. And Michael, thank you as always.
Thank you, Ralph.
All right,
I
good to have you
appreciate
here. Well, don't forget about those senior suppers. They're on the second Monday of every month from March through November. You're invited at 5:15 p.m. those Mondays, and a speaker on a topic of interest. Just call 354-5225 to make your reservation. Well, time now for our HealthWise TV exercise segment. Get you up and moving this morning. We have some fun, invigorating, low-impact exercises. And check with your doctor before you start this or any exercise program.